What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Icing the Puck. You already know what it is. Back with another episode here at the end of the week. It has been an amazing week, if I do say so. NHL hockey is back. We are so back. Feels amazing to not just be watching preseason anymore. Jordan, how are you, man? What's going on?
I am good. Got the first week of regular season hockey in the books. It's been good so far. Really enjoying it. Just loving that hockey is back. Ready to talk about some hockey again. And I'm just glad it's back. I'm glad it's back.
This is what we look forward to every week, is getting to come to y'all and discuss everything that's been going on. We had a good weekend. We actually got to see each other quite a bit this weekend. If the audience doesn't know, we actually live pretty close to each other. So just find it a little easier to do it like this. We got lives.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
lives.
But yeah, we went to a Texas Stars game. We went to their home opener. If you saw it on the
That's
Instagram,
right.
that was very fun. Love seeing some
Decided to
live
rep
hockey.
the shirt today,
Yeah.
Rep the shirt, Texas Stars.
Yep.
We want to thank the Texas Stars for putting on such a great show opening night against the Grand Rapids Griffins. They ended up losing, but what a game it was. It was pretty close. What was it, 4-3?
Yeah, final score was 4-3 on Friday when we went, and then the game on Saturday was also a loss of I think 3-2. Unfortunate, but it's about going and enjoying the hockey. Not, I mean, it's always nice when they
If
win.
y'all haven't been to an AHL game, we seriously suggest going. I mean, it is it's the next best thing to NHL, but it holds up in a lot of ways to an NHL game. It's a good time.
It's very
it's a
fun.
Good time.
Yeah, it's very fun. There's just the energy and the atmosphere of the entire game is awesome. It's hard to beat. Just live hockey is the best. I mean, it's
Live
one of those
hockey is
sports.
the best.
Yeah, some sports are just not the most fun to watch live, but hockey is not one of them. It is so fun to watch those games live, regardless if it's AHL, NHL, preseason, regular season. It's just fun to be there.
You get like this local vibe too. Like there's rowdy fans. Like we have, if you ever get the chance to come to Cedar Park, Texas and watch the Texas Stars, there's a group of hecklers. They're pretty famous. I mean, they've been at every game we've been to. They dress up like refs. They got the blind person stick, the glasses. It's a good time. It's a great time. If you haven't been, go. I don't know about you, Jordan. I had a pretty decent sports weekend, man. I had a pretty good sports weekend. My Texas Longhorns, college football, Red River champions back to back. First time since 2008, 2009. Good weekend for me. We're going to get into my Dallas Stars probably here in a second. Another good thing for me this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. My Cowboys just lost to the Panthers before we recorded this, though. So didn't go 3 for 3. Went 2 for 3 this weekend. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I got to, little known, I got to rep my Dallas Stars jersey at the Texas Stars game. The only time you'll catch me in it. Actually, that's not true. But, as a Dallas Stars hater, I also like the Dallas Stars. So, hey, I'm.
And I like the Avs. I like the Avs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the Avs.
It's always funny.
As much as we hate each other's teams.
Yeah. Yep.
Photo proof coming Monday of him in the Dallas jersey.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. But yeah, I mean, let's kind of get into it. Let's just talk about some hockey. A lot happened
some signings
in this week. Yeah, we're talk about the couple of the signings that happened. There is a couple interesting ones on there that were some big question marks in the last episode that have now been answered.
Should we just rip the Band-Aid off here? First one?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
he's your favorite player. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. The big one, shortly after we recorded last episode, Connor McDavid signed a 2-year, maybe a bridge deal, extension, whatever you want to call it, $12.5 million for 2 years with the Oilers. So he's staying on the Oilers for at least 2 more years. I'm hoping he can repeat and maybe win the cup this year, but 12.5, not what we thought it would be. That's
2 years, $25 million, 12.5 AAV per season. What I refer to this deal as is 2 years, and if we don't win it, I'm marching out of here with my bags fully packed. That's what kind of deal this is. I think this deal sent a warning to the Edmonton organization. It said, you have 2 more years of me if we don't win. If we do win, I'll stay. I think that's literally what he's saying here. He says, "I'm taking the discount now because I believe we could win with the team that we want to win with." And also, props to Connor McDavid. Okay, this is few and far between in sports today that you see loyalist guys like this. Okay, he wants to finish what he started. And obviously this deal shows he likes being in Edmonton. Like he's made a home there. He's raising a family there. It's something, I think it's on a personal level. It goes deeper than just the hockey level of things here. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it shows like that he's committed to the year and he's committed to the program and the team as long as they can produce. If they go another 2 years of the same, of just either not making it all the way or just not winning the cup, or who knows what's going to happen. Yeah. I think then he moves on, because he's saying it's like, this is your last chance to keep me here. Make me stay. And not necessarily, like I said, I don't ever think that he was like, he hated Edmonton by any means and was going to leave out of spite. I don't think it's that. It's just, he wants to win, and he realizes that if he's not going to be able to do that in Edmonton, he has to go somewhere else. So, but he gave him 2 more years, a little bit of like I said, a bridge deal, basically, to see if they can make it happen. And if they do, then I can see him signing another longer term contract, which who knows what that one's going to be worth. But right now, the team friendly, which now that I think about it and looking at it, especially after the other signings that they had right after, him taking that amount makes a lot of sense, because he's taking a discount so the team could re-sign other pieces that will help them in this window.
And they did re-sign those other pieces, Jordan. They did. I mean, you got Matthias Ekholm, star defenseman there, aging guy. I believe he's 34 this year, maybe older. I don't know, he might be
35.
older, but he is mid-30s. 35. Yeah, he was making $6 million a year, okay, on his previous deal. He just signed a 3-year, $12 million contract. So that's $4 million a year. Another discount for a guy. I mean, he's been hurt quite a bit. He played 65 games last year. He had 33 points. That's still pretty solid for a guy playing a short amount of the season. Then add on to that, they're able to get Jake Wallman on a 7-year, $49 million deal. $7 million AAV. I'm going to be honest with you. I like the Ekholm deal. Okay. Not a huge fan of the Wallman deal. This is a guy who, he's produced somewhat in his career, his 8-year career, I believe, but last year played for 3 different teams. He was able to blow up for Edmonton, though, with 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points in the playoffs last year. So he definitely made an impact when it mattered, but he's by no means a shutdown defenseman, and that's what this team doesn't really have defense. So.
Yep. Yeah, that's their weakest point is kind of the back end of their team, the very furthest back on their team, of course, being the goalie situation. But I mean, I definitely think that it's a little bit of an overpay for Wallman, but they probably that was probably the number that he wanted to stay, and they needed to sign that just to keep him around, because trying to find a replacement after this year for him could be potentially more difficult. Stick with the guy than risk it and try and find somebody else, which the market right now for defensemen it's saturated in some ways, but it's not the way that they need it. Like you said, like a shutdown kind of more defensive defenseman are kind of getting more and more rare.
At that point, you just have to hope that Ekholm can stay healthy.
Yeah,
because he's like the one shutdown guy they have.
He's a big guy.
He's
a true defenseman. Yeah, he's scary to play against. Like a lot of teams, you can tell that they kind of they try and shy away from him a little bit, because he's not afraid to throw it around. Like, he'll hit you. I mean, he's throwing some big hits, and he fights too. So I mean, he's the kind of guy that you need on your team, and that's why Edmonton re-signed him. And I think it's good that he took another discount as well. I mean, he is getting older, like you said, injuries, so he definitely wasn't going to get the same amount of money, but I think he definitely took a little bit more of a discount for the same reason that McDavid did, to stay in that window and make it possible for them to re-sign the other pieces that they need, like Wallman and stuff. I mean, his deal was announced afterwards, but obviously they have that planned in advance, that they know where all the numbers are going to be. But yeah, I think it was McDavid and Wallman signed the same day on the 6th.
Yeah.
So
Edmonton was also one more small signing before we get into the two big daddies here. Jack Roslovic.
Yeah,
Edmonton adds him. He's been a free agent. Seems like a lot of teams were shying away from him on the open market. He finally had breakout year last year with Carolina. 22 goals, 39 points. The first time So I think it's the first time he's had over 13 goals, if I'm not mistaken, in his career. Was this past year at Carolina. They get him on a 1 year, $1.5 million contract. So just adding a little more depth scoring there. I don't know if he's really going to make that much of an impact, but he's kind of, I guess, filling the hole of Zach Hyman being out for a while.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see.
He'll definitely play. I think right now he's playing third line center for them, or he was kind of swapping around a couple different lines this past couple of games for Edmonton. But again, it's just, yeah, fill in that slot, and they had the little bit extra money from the discounts they took on these other deals that they could sign that guy. They could sign him on I don't think that's a bad deal at all. 1.5 is not bad for 1 year, just to see how he performs.
I just think it's the
if he does stand
deal.
up, yeah. I mean,
they need. I would have rather seen defense or a goalie, but I mean, whatever.
The goalie market is hard right now. It's tough. There's not a lot of like well-known names that are available as goalies. Yeah. But I mean, there's some rumors there, but I don't know. I mean, but yeah, it's been rough. Stuart Skinner is not going to get it done. I don't think they could do a full year of him as their starting goalie. We all know what happened.
I mean, if he keeps scoring on himself,
yeah.
Like,
it's just not a good look. It's just, I think it's a lack of confidence thing too, because he probably knows how everybody feels about him, and I'm sure that there are people on the team that feel that way about him too. As much as they say that he's our guy, I mean, it's a risk. He's not the worst. Like sometimes he does make some good saves, but it's just you never know with him, and that's the worst spot to be in with a goalie is an unknown or it's like 50-50 chance that he's gonna make this amazing save or he's gonna fumble a very easy save or a puck that own goal. I'm not going to 100% blame him on that one. I mean, it was majority his fault, but Bouchard is definitely, he should have taken that puck, but he didn't, and it caused some confusion, and you know how I feel about Bouchard too. So.
Yeah, two guys who seem to be a little confused at times. So let's run through these last two signings here. We got two big ones. I'll let you decide which one you want to talk about first.
Let's start with the one that I think is actually, I mean, I think they're both really good signings. I think they're both solid moves by their teams. Let's talk about Kyle Connor first. He is we've talked about it multiple times. He's a very underrated player, I think. I think that's a really good deal for him and a really good deal for the team. He is a big part of that team. He's been there his entire career. He's put up a lot of points for them. He's just kind of part of the heart and soul of that team, you can almost say.
100%. 100%.
As soon as, as soon as you sign that deal, it's kind of a stress reliever for the team in a way. It's like, you know everything's set, you're good to go. But yeah, a super underrated player that I think makes a big difference. And
yeah, he had a career high. Career high 97 points last year. I mean, come on. That's awesome. And he averages between 70 and 80 points a year. He really is, he might be the Winnipeg Jet. It's between him, Scheifele, Hellebuck. Obviously, Hellebuck, I think, is the heart and soul, the identity of that team, but as a Dallas fan, it's hard for me to like Winnipeg, obviously, but as a sports fan and as an unbiased fan, I have a lot of respect for the Winnipeg Jets. They have found some kind of way to lock down a heart-winning goalie, a solid captain in Adam Lowry, Mark Scheifele, a guy who spent his whole career there, another underrated player. And now you get Kyle Connor, and then add on to that the Dylan Sandberg deal before the offseason. I mean, you have locked down, all of those guys I named aren't just random players in this league. Those are all, I mean, you could argue top guys in the league. I would even say top 50 players. You could, because I don't know where you'd put Sandberg, but the rest of those guys, Connor, Scheifele, Hellebuck, those three alone, I mean, those are top 25 players in this league.
Yeah.
You could say.
And one of the big things about the Jets is, as much as it seems like they don't have any one breakout guy, but they all just work really, really well together.
Mm-hmm.
And for somehow they've managed, like you said, for a very small market team that's just not. I mean, they're popular.
One of the smallest markets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Jets fans love the team, and they're some of the most like passionate fans for sure. That team has managed to they've built a really really good team. I mean, consistently year after year. Surprisingly, they have been serious contenders, and they will be again this year. It's like we talked about in our division rankings. Like I can see them finishing in any of the top 3 spots in
Yeah.
the division, and it's because of those kind of guys that they do that. It's like they all do their part consistently, and they all do it at a really high level that just works for the team. I mean, they're constantly one of the best defensive teams, and they can score. So they're a very scary team for sure. And
And
it's
props
always
to them in their front office that Connor and Hellebuck are both American, and you have them locked up long term in a Canadian market.
Yeah.
That
The
is
only
bravo.
that's awesome. Yeah, love seeing American players becoming more and more popular. But the only thing they need to fix is playoff Hellebuck. That's about it. Hopefully he can get that figured out. But other than that, they're a solid team, and it's signings like this. Like again, we thought the market was going to just go crazy after the Kaprizov deal, and McDavid,
It's almost been
Kyle
reset.
Connor, and the next one we're about to talk about have kind of leveled it out and made a big. I don't know. It's not what I expected, but yeah.
By the way, we didn't say the official number. It's 8 years, $12 million a season,
Yes.
so 96. It's the same deal as Rantanen and Marner. And, I mean, honestly, it's I guess it's kind of tough to argue, but I'd put him in the same, tier as those guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not
more
put
of a
up.
goal scorer, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, he's never had like as good of a season as those guys, but I think that's mainly because it's like spread around on that team. Like they don't have one guy that is just like their breakout star. Like I said, they have a lot of guys that do their part, and it's pretty evenly spread. They've got their top 4 or 5 guys are all like they're all pretty even, and
High
I think
point
one
totals.
of them,
High point
yeah,
totals.
and if one of them did have one of those kind of seasons where all of a sudden they just go crazy and like 100 points plus, I wouldn't be surprised by any of it. Like I could see all of them doing it. And yeah, so that's why the Jets are such a scary team. As you well know.
Let's get into I like this one, bro. Jack Eichel. 8 years, $108 million, $13.5 million a season. It's funny. After this deal was inked, I was trying to think to myself something that I don't like about Jack Eichel's game. I'm like, what is the downside to this deal? I looked at the stats. A point total is actually lower than a lot of people would expect throughout his career. But then I look at most of those years, okay, Jordan. I look at most of those years. He's playing in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing in Buffalo. You look at when he gets to Vegas a couple years ago, they shoot up. Okay, and I'm just going to say it, for immediate impact player. His first year in Vegas, he wins a cup. You just can't, or second year, the year after, his first full year, after he was traded. He wins a cup with that team. He was the piece that team had been looking for so long. He had his highest point total last year with 94 points and 28 goals. A lot of people have been saying that the price tag is too high. But then I look at, okay, so you have Marner for 8 more years at $12 million. Okay, then you have Eichel at 8 more years at $13.5 million. And the market is going to go up more. The salary cap is going to be, I think, 120 something mil next season.
Potentially,
and it's like, dude, like these are the 2 guys you could build around. I mean, Vegas is, no matter if anybody wants to hear it or not. And once again, I'm a Dallas fan, but Vegas has a very high chance at winning another cup now with these 2 guys to build around. That's my thoughts on the deal. I love it. I think it's an A+. It's a home run.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, looking at his stats, like career stats, I mean, he's just under a point per game player with his, because I think he had 2 seasons with Buffalo where he was injured consistently. Missed a lot of games. Yeah. I mean, he missed an entire season when he was with Buffalo, and then part of another season. And then I think he was played half a season in Buffalo, and then he got traded. So, I mean, for how much that he has been out and how few games he's played, the stats that he's put up are really good. he's an assist machine. And that's kind of his role, and he fills it really well. I mean, he's like a classic like playmaker kind of guy. He and yeah, the deal that he signed and the deal that Marner signed locks down two really good players for Vegas for a long time,
Two
like long term.
playmakers, all-star playmakers.
Yep. And when one of them's like, if one of them starts to play, the other one can finish it, and vice versa. Or it goes back to, whoever else they're playing with. It's like they just make everybody that they're playing with look really good too. So I agree. It's a solid deal. And again, in a couple of years, it's going to be even better because like, damn, this is such a good deal. Like the total is really low compared to, or the yearly, average is really low compared to what potentially some contracts in the future are going to be. So, yeah, I mean, what is he at? He's at 7 points already this year.
And I talk about it all the time to these teams. Lock down your guy. Give your guy the money that would make him feel respected. And Eichel, after coming there and winning a cup for this team, being the puzzle piece that they needed to fill in, like 13.5 shows like, hey, we love having you here. And guess what? Like, I have seen nothing but, like, I don't know if you watched that Amazon show, Face Off.
Yes.
I haven't seen the newest season yet, but in that first season last year, he looks like he absolutely loves playing in the desert, dude. Like,
yeah,
he is, you could see it. There's nowhere else this guy would rather be. He loves it there. He loves his teammates. He loves the organization because you know why? They try to win every single year. They'll give up whatever they can just to win. They never want to rebuild.
Yeah. And I mean, and kind of going what you said about the number that makes you feel respected. And I think that's kind of when he got to Vegas, instantly he was respected by the team compared to what happened in Buffalo. And it was just like that, keeps players loyal. They're willing to take slightly lower deals that they're comfortable with still to stay with a team that they like. And that's, I mean, all of these three deals, McDavid, Eichel, even back with Marner and with Kyle Connor, it's just like, they're willing to take a little bit less than what everybody thinks that they should be getting to stay and play with a team that they're familiar with or that they think that they can be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the difference between
hockey is one of the between hockey and other sports. I mean, like these guys, they want to win. They want to win and they're willing to take discounts. And that is not what you see in the NFL. It's not what you see in the NBA. Greatest sport in the world. Greatest sport in the world. We'll say it over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very different kind of attitude from the player perspective. You see the interaction between a lot of these players with each other and even across like the other teams. They just enjoy playing with each other, regardless if they're rivals or whatever. It makes a big difference when you really enjoy what you're doing like that. They're willing to take a little bit less money. I mean, they're not the highest paid sports league in the world. It's going up, but I mean, the contracts are nothing compared to these other sports, but the loyalty of the players to their teams is a lot different and is a lot more apparent in the NHL. So,
100%.
And I think that makes it a lot more fun to watch as well as a fan. So,
for sure.
But yeah, all of these contracts have been good. I mean, I'll even backtrack a little bit, and we've kind of talked about it more since we released the episode. The Kaprizov contract, I get it. It's high, but it makes sense for what the team needed and like you said, like they locked down their guy and they needed to, and they'll grow in. The deal will grow with the team, and it'll be, eventually it'll be a decent contract. But these ones are just hell of a deal for all of them, and they'll only get better
for guys who put up similar point totals to Kirill.
Yep, exactly.
But we'll see. We'll see how all these deals age. All contracts age, and they go a certain way, or whether that's forwards or backwards. And we'll see what happens with each one of these guys in 8 years.
Yeah, so, and I mean, some of these deals actually protect the team. They protect the team in a way too, because they're easier. They're going to be easier to trade in the future if they need to. So, not that any of these players want to, or that these teams want to trade these players away, but you always got to keep that in the back of your mind. As a GM, when you're doing all these deals, you have to look out for the team at the end of the day too. So, but yeah, I'm very impressed lately.
NHL hockey. Let's get into some NHL hockey, man. Let's talk about this past week in review. I say we go division by division. Let's read these standings. Now, this is early in the year standings, y'all. I mean, this is going to change so much, but we have some interesting ones. Go ahead and you choose the division, man. Start off. Let's read these standings.
I'm going to start in the East, and we're going to start with the Atlantic. Neither of us are big on the Eastern Conference. We definitely have a preference and love watching the Western Conference more. I think that's fair. I like watching all hockey, but it's just sometimes some of the matchups in the East are just not the greatest. It's just not hard to watch them because I just love watching hockey. Some of them are not the greatest games
not
ever,
as competitive.
But
not as
exactly.
Competitive.
But let's look at the Atlantic. So right now, after 3 games played, you have the Florida Panthers leading, but they're tied with Boston. Both is 6 points, so 3 wins, 0 losses. Panthers, I don't think that's unexpected. I think that kind of makes sense to them there. Boston, I'm actually kind of impressed with. They haven't had the cleanest wins, but a win is a win at the end of the day, and it adds to your point total. And but they've looked much better than I thought they would. And if they kind of keep this up, they could be in a much better spot than we originally predicted.
I have to say, Boston Bruins fans, I apologize. I was unfamiliar with your game. All right, this team, for some reason, is holding it together, actually kind of strongly. Jeremy Swayman, I should have never said anything. I regret what I said.
He's back. Mm-hmm.
And then, when else did they play? Did they play yesterday? Yesterday, yeah, they beat Buffalo. I mean, that's pretty easy to do, but they beat Buffalo. That's pretty easy.
They played the Bruins, and then they played the Blackhawks. And then, yesterday was their best win so far against Buffalo, I think. They looked really, really good yesterday.
They outshot Buffalo 16-1 in the first period, by the way.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Pretty crazy.
I myself, you're apologizing to the Boston Bruins fans. I'm going to hold judgment till it's only been 3 games. Let's see where they are in another 2 weeks' time. But I'll admit that they definitely look a little bit better than I thought they would. The rest of that division, you've got the Montreal Canadiens in 3rd with 2 wins, 1 loss. They've looked good. They, I think that first loss to Toronto was rough, but I mean, other than that, they played well. I don't think they played bad in that game. They just didn't do well. They just didn't perform. They couldn't finish a lot of their plays. And they just couldn't score. And then Maple Leafs in 4th, tied with Detroit and Ottawa at 2 points apiece. They, all those teams look good. They're a little rough actually. So Detroit, not a great first game.
Detroit, a little rough, but came back a little bit against the Leafs last night.
Yeah. Yep. So they're all 3 of those teams are at 1 win, 1 loss, so 2 points total. I think there's not enough to really see any more. They've only played those 2 games, so there's not enough information yet to see where they're going to end up there. I think out of those 3 teams, the ones that were the strongest, of course, were the Leafs, but the team I'm most surprised by in that division where they're at right now is Tampa, 0-2. 0 points.
Yeah.
Tied with Buffalo, which is not where I thought they would be. But it is only 2 games. It's kind of hard. It's kind of easy to look really bad when you lose 2 games, but there's only 2 games played. So it looks really bad with being at the very bottom of the rankings, but they're only 6 points off the lead. If you look at it that way, too. You go either way.
With Tampa, rough loss to the Senators, really close game. I actually watched most of the beginning of that game. Yeah, I watched the first into the second before Dallas came on that night. Tampa Bay, I don't know, a little shaky defensively, which is something we're not used to from them. Also, I was expecting, a team like Tampa playing Ottawa, I was expecting that to be a scrappier game. Usually Tampa is a scrappy team, and it started that way, but they didn't keep up with the physical play like how they used to. And now this might also have to do with that team is aging. Like, they're an aging team by all means. Like, if you want to keep these guys healthy, maybe less physicality. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, where Tampa goes from here. Obviously, I don't think they're going to stay, at the bottom of this division. Like, there's too much talent, but they also lose to New Jersey in both games. The Sens and the Devils were able to put 5 goals on them. So. Yeah,
the Devils game I think was a lot worse than the game against the Sens. The Sens, it was pretty evenly matched, and it was kind of back and forth a little bit. He said it wasn't as scrappy as I thought it would be, like you said, but they held their own and they came away with the win. It wasn't a good win. The Senators came away with a win. It wasn't like an amazing win or anything like that, but Again, a win is a win, but the game against New Jersey
Brady
was
Tkachuk,
rough.
3 assists in that game, by the way.
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk, 3 assists in that game. Great game.
Yeah. But yeah, the game against New Jersey was rough. I'm surprised that they got 3 goals in that game. I think it could have been a much bigger blowout the way that they were playing. And I don't think New Jersey was playing that great either. That's why it was just rough to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they won, but it wasn't even the Devils' best win. You know, like that wasn't the best game that they've played either, but they still won by 2 goals, which is, you know, saying something. But yeah.
Jordan, my favorite part about these episodes is overreactions. Okay. And before we leave this division really quick, okay, I just want to say, you know, like this is rough, but Buffalo, you might be on number 1 pick watch.
I agree.
You might be on draft lottery winner watch after this first week. They suck, dude. Like, the talent is not showing up at all, like how I said. And we predicted in our division predictions a couple weeks ago that they would be pretty low in this Atlantic division. I didn't think they'd be this bad. I thought they would score goals at least. Where's the goals? Where's the offense? You have one shot in a period against the Bruins? Like, come on. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I think that's more indicative and kind of a rougher statistic to look at than being 0-2 is they're 0-2, but they just got manhandled in both those games. Like they did not look good at all.
They've scored a total of 1 goal this year.
Yeah.
In 2 games, you've scored 1 goal. You get shut out by the Rangers. Shout out my Rangers. And then you get, you know, just stunned by the Bruins who... Well, I mean, the Bruins are a better team than we thought, but, like, I mean, you'd think Buffalo would be able to compete with them a little bit at least.
At least a little bit, yeah, a little bit more than they did, but it did not happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Rough.
Sell the team. Move the team.
Relocate.
Gosh. I mean, I think that should have happened years ago. It's such a horribly run organization that I don't know how those people still are. Anyway. I don't get it. I don't get how that... Yeah, I don't get how they're operating with some of the same people.
This isn't a Buffalo Sabres show here,
sure.
You know. But
yeah, but okay,
rough.
let's look at. Hold on, let me pull up the Metro. This one, a little bit closer of a division, I think, right now, which is surprising. I thought this was going to be more spread out than the Atlantic was. But right now, in first place, much to our predictions, was Carolina Hurricanes. They are tied with the New York Rangers. Impressive. But even more impressive, they are tied with the Pittsburgh Penguins with 4 points each. That is not what I saw happening at all.
No.
We've talked about it in person and this past week. Penguins looking kind of good. Like, not what I expected. Again, only been 3 games. Yeah. Dude, Hurdy might be traded and, yeah. Malkin Hurdy might be traded and he's like, I gotta go off now, so it happens. Just kidding. He's like, I want to go win a cup.
Let's stick with the Penguins. Let's stick with the Penguins real quick here for a second. Not only did this team have, like, you know, like, have they just been winning? These are some good wins, too. You start the year out by shutting out the New York Rangers at MSG. Tough thing to do. You beat your old head coach, Mike Sullivan. You say, we don't need you anymore. You were the problem here. Okay, we could play just fine on our own with that bald fella that they have behind the bench now. I forget his name. God, is he ugly? I mean, he might be the ugliest head coach in the league. I'm just being honest. Like, that's pretty messed up to say, but it's true. You go over, you go back home. You got the Islanders coming into town. You hold your own against them, which the Islanders can score this year, by the way, y'all. The Islanders can score. We're going to get
Islanders
into that
a little bit more interesting to watch this year. It's crazy.
Actually not a boring team anymore. And then, yeah, you 6-1 loss to the Rangers after that. Mike Sullivan gets his revenge. But, you know, we'll chalk it up to that. I'm excited for this Pens-Rangers rivalry this year, man.
Yeah.
This might be like cinema.
Yeah. This division might be a little more scrappy than we thought it was. It might be a little more, you know, kind of shaken up a little bit.
Maybe not the worst division in hockey.
Maybe not. I mean, at least not the most spread out. I mean, the worst 2 teams in the division right now are the Islanders with 0 points and the Flyers with 1 point. I'm not super surprised by the Flyers being in that position, but I'm very surprised with the Islanders being, you know, like 0-2 right now. I thought they would have gotten at least one win. I thought they would have beat the Penguins, and they didn't. So that kind of shows that these teams might be in a lot of different spots than we thought they would be. But kind of the
Yeah,
middle of
I
the
mean
pack there.
it's the Islanders have a pretty tough schedule here to start the year. So I mean you lose to the Penguins. That's a game you should have competed in. You score 3 goals. They scored 2 goals against the Capitals yesterday. Still lost. Capitals are a good team. Let's be honest, they'll be fine. Then after that, listen to this. You have Jets, you have Oilers, you have Senators. Yeah, that's your next 3 games right there. And then you have the Sharks. We'll
I
see
think
if they
those are.
get a win. I think they could beat the Sharks, but
I think they could beat the Sharks, but I think those other three are. I think those are 3 losses right there. Are they going to start
yeah.
1-5 for the season? That would be rough. Yeah. I think of those there. I mean, the New Jersey and Columbus are kind of right in the middle there, where I thought they would be. Washington, I think the more Washington plays, they'll definitely rise in the rankings. Again, all of these teams, they're not going to stay in these spots the more games they play. Washington being 1-1, I thought they would have won both their games, but things happen. The team I'm most impressed with is Columbus. I think that they've been looking pretty good. I think even in the games that they lost, they looked good. I don't know. They
Held off Minnesota in a barn burner last night.
Yeah, they're kind of like sneaky, That's kind of what I talked about at the beginning of the
Yeah.
when we talked about the rankings and everything. What was that? Yeah, 7-4 win against Minnesota last night was
Minnesota with
crazy.
52 shots on goal last night.
Yeah.
Held them to 4 goals.
Yeah,
that's wild.
So somehow I think that's how their season's going to go. Like, there's going to be games that they win, barely, and they kind of sneak away with a win, and then they're just going to have some games like the one against Minnesota where they just go off and kind of come away with a really good win.
Done.
And I think that I still think my prediction of them finishing middle of the pack, potentially in a wild card spot, is again a possibility. I think so far this season, the first couple games, I think that holds up even more so. I mean, they're in 4th right now, again tied with Washington and New Jersey, but I can see them holding that spot and probably Washington moving up. And I don't know, it's a much tighter race in that division than I thought it would be. I thought there would be a much bigger differential. I mean, their biggest differential to getting even or to in a spot is -3 points. So like 3-point differential is not terrible compared to like in the Atlantic, it's a -6. So they're kind of crazy. So yeah, I mean, that division overall, much more impressive than I thought it would be, and I'm curious to see how it's going to end up later in the year and the longer we play. I think the one that's not surprising to me is Carolina. Carolina's going to stay at the top there. I don't think any of these teams are going to knock them out of that top spot. I mean, it may be back and forth at the beginning here when the scoring is so close, or when the point totals are so close, but as they win more and more, they're going to kind of run away with the lead for sure. And again, I could see
Carolina looks good, man.
Yeah, I can definitely still see them winning the division. I'm a Carolina hater for sure, but even I could recognize their game. It's they're a scary team. If they fix their goaltending, they could be seriously a problem. That being said, the reason they're lucky to be 2-0 right now with some of the gameplay. Goaltending is their biggest issue, and if they fix that, it's a whole different story.
Aside from goaltending, one big props that I have to give to this team is they could finish games. They could finish games out. They could close. Going toe-to-toe with Philadelphia in overtime is not something that you want to see out of your group, but it happens sometimes. And as long as you could finish and win, there you go.
Win is a win.
They outscored the Devils 6-3. Yeah.
Yeah.
K'Andre Miller looks good. K'Andre Miller looks good, and Nikolai Ehlers. So the guys they brought in this year, it's working out for them, which I think we expected nothing less. So
I think what's his name is
Central
tied
Division,
pretty close. Seth Jarvis, isn't he?
League points.
He's tied or in the running for. He's like top 10 right now in total points, I think. So yeah, they're looking good. Yeah, Central Division. Speaking of a division that I'm a little surprised by. So. Right now, you've got Avs leading by 1 point, so they're first in the division. They're 2-0-1, so 5 points total. Number 2 right now is Dallas. They're 2-0 with 4 points total. That was a very, very good game on Saturday, as expected. That was kind of crazy. overtime and a shootout victory for Dallas was good
What was
for
the
them.
score of that game?
5-4. And Colorado just got out goalied.
Who scored a game-winning shootout goal?
I don't know who that
the
is.
Moose. He got loose.
Who? Who's that?
Yeah, before we move on, I'm gonna do a little bit of a little gloating here. This was I'll give my biased little take here. Mikko Rantanen, he's coming into this building every year, showing you why you shouldn't have let him go. And for some reason, Jake Ottinger is looking like Patrick Waugh every time he plays the Avs. All right, this is something that we might have to get a little used to. No, but okay.
No,
all
it's
right,
about to,
just had to get some of that out.
You know what? I'm going to start the argument, and I'm tired of it, and I'm going to say it right now for everybody. This is going to be a clip right here. If Mikko Rantanen wanted to be an Avalanche, he would still be an Avalanche. It is not the Avs' fault that he's not on the Avs. It is entirely his greedy ego fault.
Greedy?
Yes, greedy. He signed for the same amount that Colorado offered him in Dallas. Actually, he signed for less in Dallas than he got offered in Colorado. It's all about the money for him, and that's why he doesn't deserve to win a cup ever again.
Whoa!
Because
that's a big statement.
All these teams have players that care about hockey and care about playing and like their teams and take discounts and help the team out and are loyal to the team. And as soon as he wanted some money and the team wasn't able to meet him at the amount that he wanted, they offered him a fair deal that is now basically the standard for top level players. He didn't sign it, and then he got traded because you're not going to let him walk away for nothing because he doesn't want to be loyal to the team. Then he ends up in Dallas. It is entirely Mikko Rantanen's fault that he is not a Colorado Avalanche. So I'm going to defend that position.
Florida fans love to talk about this, and I feel like Dallas fans don't talk about it enough. But no state tax is a great thing sometimes as a fan. And
sure,
he took it. He's making more money.
I'm not one of those ones that's like saying like, oh, you need to get rid of the advantage of having no state tax.
I know
100%. I mean, being someone who lives in Texas,
this is awesome. The kind of situation. This is the kind of situation to where Colorado Avalanche fans and Carolina Hurricanes fans are going to hate this guy forever. They will, because the point is he didn't want to play for either of those teams. He made that very clear. And I think really it's going to come down to only Dallas fans will ever like this guy because he wanted to play for our team. And I'm glad he's on my team. But now time for my unbiased take on this game, because this is undoubtedly the most important game of the week. Best game of the week, in my opinion. When these two teams meet, when our two teams meet, it is playoff hockey cinema every time, no matter what time of year it is. And how blessed are we to be able to experience this? What a hell of a game. It's kind of like what we talked about with these three teams, Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg. These are three teams that are going to be in the running for this division, and it's really whoever wants it the most. And we saw that Dallas wanted it the most last night, Saturday night. Next game, you never know with these teams. Colorado could want it more next game. And no, like seriously, and they could win. And that's the best part about the Central Division, is all these teams are constantly at war. So what a hell of a game.
Yeah, it's one of those days where a win in those kind of games, a matchup against either Dallas or Winnipeg, a win is really big, but a loss is also not like a huge loss because it's like these teams are so close together and they're so skill level wise, they're so close that it's just little things that make a difference. Like I said, Colorado got out goalied. If they had their starting goalie, game could have gone very differently. Under deciding to play out of his mind against Colorado, and Colorado for some reason specifically is always that way.
That save on Natchez was ridiculous, out of this world.
In OT?
I don't know how to happen. Yes.
Yeah. And speaking of going back to it, I'm glad that Natchez is on the Avs, and I'm happy for that.
He's a good player. He's a dare I say great player.
Yeah, and he fits in with the team a lot more. Though his play style just goes with that top line so much better than Rantanen's ever did. Rantanen was such a good player that his lack of fit on that team made up for it just because of how good of a player he is. And I'll admit that. I mean, I don't think he's a bad player at all, and I think that he is really good. He's good on Dallas. I just don't think, kind of going back to what I said in our divisional rankings, I think that he's not going to perform as well on Dallas just because he's not on Colorado anymore. That's my take. It's my hot take again.
Well,
But
he's got 6 points already to start the year.
true,
So,
easy to be the best on the team when nobody else on the team does anything.
all right, let's relax. Let's go on to the next team. All right, let's go on to the next team.
But okay, so this is the one I'm most surprised by right now. Nashville Predators being third with 3 points. Not what I expected at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they you know what though? I don't even think that they look good. I think that they just got some wins. I don't think that
Well, who did they beat? Let's take a look here.
They played their first game.
They lose.
They
lose
lost
the first prehistoric matchup.
Yeah. So they lost to they won against
Columbus.
Yep.
Columbus.
Yep.
2-1.
And then they lost to
overtime loss to the Mammoth.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that the second game was much better. The overtime loss was much better because Utah looks kind of good. They actually held their own against the Avs when they played. So they look okay. Again, that was kind of what I predicted. I think they were going to look a little bit better this year than they had. I think the only reason that they're down at the bottom right now is just because they're tied with 4 other teams. For everybody else is tied at 2 points other than the top 3 right now. So it's kind of all open. I mean, I guess they're not tied with Chicago. Chicago only has 1 point, but that's kind of expected. We expected them to be at the bottom, but I think they're going to stay there too for the rest of the season.
I want to talk about the Chicago team though, man. They look different than last year. They do, in a good way. This is kind of a tough team, scrappy team this year. I mean, did you see any of that Montreal game last night?
Yeah. Well, here's my thing on
going at it.
Yeah, my thing on Chicago, I don't even think they looked that bad last year. They just didn't win.
Yeah.
A lot of the teams that they played last year and a lot of their games that they lost last year, they barely lost. And that's saying something. So if they can win some of those games that they lost last year, if they can play the same way and just sneak in a couple more wins, they could be in a much better position this year than they were last year. And that's what's kind of scary about them.
Chicago is better than the Islanders. Chicago is better than the Flyers. Buffalo. And Chicago is definitely better than Buffalo. Chicago, the point total doesn't show it, but I mean, opening night last week, Tuesday, they went toe-to-toe with the reigning champ Panthers. And I get it. The Panthers have a lot of guys out, but that's impressive to me. I mean, they barely lost. I think it was a 3-2 loss. Mm-hmm. And after that game, I said, wow, is this team going to be like way more competitive this year? And I mean, then against Montreal, who's by all means a faster team than Chicago, like, wow. Like, all the fights last night, but you saw Bedard throwing hands a little bit last night. And it's like, okay, it's a team that's growing up right in front of us, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I definitely think that, they have a chance. I mean, I don't think they're going to be the bottom of the league this year. I think they could make a decent push to go for a wild card spot potentially, but I don't think they're going to get one. But I think they're going to get closer than they have been previously. And all they have to do is just win a couple of those games that are close. Like, it would have been crazy if they won their first game against Florida. That would have been like, whoa, yeah. Like that would have been a big win.
Yeah.
And they barely lost it. I mean, that's where they got, an overtime point. So it's, I don't know. I can see them moving up in the rankings a little bit. I don't think they're going to be, I'm not going to say that they're going to be a wild card or higher in this division, but I think they could finish not at the bottom. And I think that, honestly, it's a lot of these teams in the Central, it's going to be not so much that one team is going to be worse than all of them. I think one team is just going to get unlucky and end up at the bottom of the standings in that division.
Yeah.
And it can be any of these
totally
teams.
See that.
But I think it just depends on schedule strength and sneaking in a couple wins here. And some of these teams like Utah, I don't think, again, they're tied right now at 2 points, but they're 7th in the division. I don't think that that's a indicator of their season. I think they're going to look a little bit better this year. And like I said, they kept up with the Avs and it was not a pretty win when the Avs won that game against them. So if they can do that the rest of the year, some of these teams that are worse than them, they could bully and get a lot of points out of them, and they could sneak in a couple wins against some of these better teams too, especially some of the Eastern teams that don't look the strongest but are still stronger than the other teams over there. So Yeah, Central Division looking kind of how we thought it would with at the top, other than Winnipeg. I mean, they're just 1 point off of that third spot. I think they didn't have the easiest. I mean, they played Dallas and Winnipeg played first, and that's always going to affect the standings right away.
Yeah.
Whatever team won is
Yeah.
going to drop down, and it would be basically if Dallas lost to Winnipeg on their first game, Dallas would be in fifth and Winnipeg would be second. You know, it's that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's right now it's too early to say like, you know, this is how it's going to end up. Like, if way too early to do those if the playoffs started today kind of things. But
Yeah. We'll
I've
do
seen
that
some of
maybe
those
after
already.
the first month. Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
Jeez.
maybe some more games
Yeah.
in and kind of a bigger point total or bigger score, like overall points total. We can make some of those predictions, but the sample size is too low right now to say anything concrete. But the division I think I'm most surprised by, and that I think honestly
Same.
has been somehow the most interesting to watch so far, other than a couple
Most
of games from like the
competitive
Central.
by far.
Yeah, the most competitive and not how I thought it would look at the beginning of the season is the Pacific Division. Right now, you have
Yeah.
1 and 2, Seattle Kraken and Vegas Golden Knights tied at 4 points. And not a very good 4 points for Vegas. They are 1-2.
They're holding on.
They're holding on. They're tied for first. But this kind of goes into what we talked about, and it kind of does kind of align with our statement about Vegas in the first episode, is they are a team that somehow stays at the top, even though they don't have like, they're not going to be the best performing team. They don't have, you know, they're not going to be like super dominant. But you know, win wise and point wise, I think they'll, again, I still will say that they could potentially win the division and the conference just by how they accumulate their points total. And the one I'm really surprised by is Seattle being at the top, 2-0 right now. Not anything that I saw coming.
I got something to say.
Go ahead.
I got something to say about this group. Seattle, and this is overreaction season here, Seattle could be a playoff team. I'm going to say that. Joey Decord is going crazy. Joey Decord, as of right now in the league, is the Vezina favorite. 963 save percentage against Vegas last night. Okay. And then a 9.7 percentage against the Ducks the other night. Okay. Both of these teams only have one goal. Like, Seattle has allowed 2 total goals in the first 2 games against 2 teams that I would argue have pretty solid offenses. Vegas and then the Ducks, we had high expectations for them. And Seattle is outscoring them and playing lights out defense. Seattle almost is like the Winnipeg of the Pacific. Like, they look like Winnipeg last year a little bit. Like, their defense is playing great. And I'm actually really surprised by how good, like, if Seattle, I'm going to say this, if Seattle keeps this up for like another week, like, I don't know what bad thing I have to say about them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. They definitely look.
I'm impressed is all I'm saying.
Yeah, right now they look closer to like 2023 Seattle Kraken, like 22.
Yeah, when they made the
yeah,
playoffs.
2023 when they made the playoffs. Yeah, they because they looked pretty decent that year. You know, I think they were a wild card spot, and they made the most of it. So they're definitely closer to that form right now. I agree. If they could keep up this kind of streak, they could maybe run away a little bit with their. I don't think they're going to stay first in the division right now, but they could make a big differential, and someone is going to have to catch them in order to pass them for a wild card or number 3 spot in the division.
Joey Decord is making his case for Olympic goaltender for the USA right now. I'm just saying. Like, he looks solid, dude.
Yeah, I definitely think that they need to go with somebody historic. We can get into that, but I think Andre should get the start.
100%
for Team USA.
100%.
I 100%. I think just in those kind of situations, he just plays better than a lot of other goalies. We kind of talk about. Anyway, that's going back to like the Four Nations stuff and kind of how everything looked, but that's a separate conversation. We could talk about that another time. But yeah, I think Seattle could maybe go on a little bit of a run here, and if they do, it's going to put them in a really good position for the rest of the year. But I'm actually really impressed with the rest of the division. Edmonton in third right now with 3 points. They're 1-1, but everybody else, Vancouver, Anaheim, San Jose, Kings, and Calgary, all tied with 2 points each.
And they've all played well.
Yeah. The one I'm most impressed by is San Jose. They are 0-2,
Yeah.
but the fact that they pushed two teams to overtime, and that's pretty impressive. And the one against Vegas was their game to lose and they lost it, but they were pretty dominant there. I mean,
But yeah.
they had a absolute collapse in the last 5 minutes and then in overtime, obviously. But the rest of that game, they were
Ned lost
solid.
that
They
game.
were controlling that game, which was crazy.
Yeah.
So
The Pacific is known right now for goalie mishaps. I mean, this is something that I feel like we need to get into here.
yeah,
You're talking about the game right now. You're right. It was their game to win until Ned basically a field goal in from half ice, from
yeah,
Jack Eichel, and
yep.
then tries to stop the rush. He comes in on the back check in OT, and
Yeah,
it didn't work out too well.
I think the first goal or the last goal, the tying goal from center ice was way worse than the overtime goal. The overtime goal was just a misplay on the puck. He just didn't commit fully. If he had committed fully to like poke checking that puck out of the zone, it would have been, that game could have ended differently. That was entirely just a slight hesitation on his part caused that, and a bad, a bad for them or really good for Vegas, a really good shot block that, stick that hit that puck and kept it in the zone. Even Vegas was really surprised that happened and that they scored that way and won that way. They're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was entirely their game to lose, which is not a position I thought they would be in. So keep an eye on this division here. There's some...
it's going to get crazy. I think it's going to stay crazy.
I'll even say, I've said it in the past when we've talked about it, I don't think there's any free wins in the Pacific Division this year.
No.
Like there have been in the past.
I think could a lot of these so much. I could see Edmonton getting knocked down to wild card.
Potentially. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I think the one that really surprises me a lot is Anaheim being tied for second, or being tied at 2 points right now. They've looked okay, but I think
defense still a little shaky.
But I think that, I don't know. I mean, it's up in the air, this division. It's a lot closer than I thought it would be, and I'm just curious to see how close it stays the rest of the rest.
Anaheim has 2 overtime wins. My bad.
No, they
one
have
overtime win, 1 overtime loss. Yeah.
Anaheim has 1-1.
I mean, all these games. Yeah, so they have a...
They had an overtime win and then a regulation
game.
loss.
It's a preseason game. Yeah. Yeah, they kept it close with the Sharks the other night. Things are getting pretty interesting here in this division, man. Like, I agree with you. Like, I think the biggest takeaway from this division, as much as I kind of hyped up Seattle there, is definitely San Jose. I mean, they're staying in games. Like, they got Ryan Reeves scoring goals.
Yeah. This is the division. Like the Central is going to be the most competitive at the very top. The Pacific, I think, is going to be the most competitive in the middle and bottom of this division, which honestly I think makes for really interesting hockey, because I love those ones where it comes down to like, the last like 3 games of the season determines who gets a wild card spot or not. That's so fun. I love that. It's like, it means a lot more, those wins at the end of the year, than just playing like once. If he gets, it's kind of not boring, because again, I love watching hockey, but it's like, if you get to the point where all of your playoff spots are set and you got like 2 weeks left of hockey, it's just like, what's the point? Like, let's just call it quits now and start the playoffs. But when it comes down to like the very last game of the season determines who gets a wild card spot or who doesn't make the playoffs, that's so fun. And I think this division is going to be one of them. I could absolutely, I think I might have said it in our predictions, I could absolutely see both wildcard teams coming from the Pacific and none from the Central, which would be interesting, but you never know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be really crazy.
Yeah, that'd be really different than normal, because normally you have 2 wildcard spots coming from the Central and none from the Pacific. So I don't know. I think that would make for some interesting playoffs. I'd love to see some different teams in the playoffs this year. And if it were up to me, it would be a different, they would change the playoff structure, but as it is now, I think it's very important to see which teams end up in wildcard spots, because that could mean the difference from an easy win round 1 or a somehow sneaky first round exit for a top team.
Yeah.
Again,
for sure.
Kind of like 2023 with the Kraken, with beating the Avs round 1 was kind of crazy, and it's shaping up to be another one of those years.
How crazy of a turnaround would it be if somehow San Jose slips in? Is
It'd be
is that a
awesome.
possibility?
I would love to see
Yeah.
San Jose in the playoffs. I think that'd be so fun. I love watching those San Jose. I love watching the Ducks.
Yeah,
Um, just those two teams out there. It's fun to watch them, and I just like them playing hockey.
for sure.
Just like how I'd
For sure.
loved like Arizona when they were a team. I loved Arizona hockey. It's just like kind of.
Me too.
I mean, and that's what's fun about a lot of these places, like these places that don't typically seem like they're not hockey like climate, but they have some good teams. Hockey in the desert with Vegas and Texas and,
Yeah.
and all this stuff. So I don't know. I love the kind of the irony of these teams that are
Yeah.
not where you would typically think of when you
Making
think
it.
of hockey,
Yeah.
but they've got some good teams, and I love seeing them perform well. So, but
For
yeah,
sure.
it's so far a good start to the year. I'm curious to see. We'll kind of continue to talk about it next, when we talk about it next week, and I'm curious to see how these change. I'm curious to see what stays the same, and I think just glad hockey's back, and I'm looking forward to watching more of it.
Me too. Yes, sir. It's the best time of year. I'm really curious to see which of these bottom teams end up climbing, especially in the East. I'm going to say that. I'm expecting a lot more from Tampa. I'm expecting a lot more from New Jersey coming up. Both of those teams, keep an eye on them. I think they're going to climb in the standings a little bit in their respective divisions. But it's been great talking to you today, man. I think really got to break these divisions down for everybody. What a start to the year. We've seen a lot of exciting games. I think it's just going to get better from here.
Yeah. Lots more hockey to play. It's only been 2 to 3 games for each of these teams. And again, just kind of quick reactions after this first week. But yeah, I think we're in for a really good year of hockey. And
Yes.
a lot of times
That's
you
for
can't
sure.
tell that from the beginning, and from the first week, you can tell this is going to be a really good year. Yeah.
For sure.
Glad last night was awesome with all 16 teams or 16 games last night. And then at the end of this month, another Saturday with all games with every team playing. So we're kind of getting a little bit of a treat early on here with a bunch of hockey, but
Maybe
yeah, I'm just looking forward
is it
to
Frozen Frenzy that next one? That
yeah,
next
I think
Saturday?
it's the 28th. It's the last Saturday of the month. Or
Maybe
no,
a
second to
little
last
bit of
Saturday. So, yeah.
Frozen Frenzy. Maybe a little bit of Frozen Frenzy live streaming.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe a little bit
Some
of
posting. When is that?
maybe?
Oh no, it's on
We'll see.
Tuesday. Something like that.
Oof.
It's somewhere
Never
around there.
mind.
I don't remember what it is. I don't remember the exact. I can't remember if it's the 25th, the 28th, somewhere in there. But there's another day where every team plays. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. It's just good for hockey. I love seeing all the teams play at the same time. Makes it awesome.
For
You
sure.
know, you saw
For
my
sure.
setup yesterday, having so many different games on at the same time. Felt like I
This
was
dude
in
had we had 5 games on at the same time last night in the room, just chilling. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, normally we had the Dallas Avs game on the big TV. Normally, I have that one on a multicast,
Yeah.
so it's playing 4 games on that one, plus 3 more games on my computer. So it's going crazy with the hockey if there's enough games on. But yeah, it's I feel like I'm having a Frozen Frenzy over here by myself, just watching. I'm gonna host my own Frozen Frenzy. I'm just kidding. But no, it's good. I'm just glad hockey's back, and looking forward to another full year of hockey and what it's going to bring.
Well, all right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Always, always, always follow the socials. We have the link tree below. Every social, please go follow. We appreciate the support, and we will see y'all on the next one.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for good conversations today, and thanks for everybody on the socials for the interaction and the views and everything like that. Just, there's more to come. So thanks to everybody who's
Yes, sir.
listened
Keep
and
chipping away.
looked at everything. So yeah, all right. So we'll see everybody next time.
Yes, sir.